My name is Robert Thurman. I'm the J. Dzong Kappa Professor of Indo-Tibetan Buddhist Studies at Columbia University. New York City. It was like growing up in a lunatic asylum. Bunch of theatrical people with their theatrical emotions. I was a middle son and I was the family peacemaker. And they were all having their Sturmendrangs all over the place, most of them. My father was more mild, but my mother and brothers were like, especially the older brother, were kind of wild. And they were, you know, thespian. They were acting, theater at all times. So it was a little bit nutty, but it was stimulating. I was 17 years old. And I had a thing at, I went to Phillips Exeter, a very snobby school, but I had a lot of friends from Latin America, and the kind of young boys who would be at such a school from Latin America would be from the very wealthiest classes in the different Latin American countries. And my friends were romantic, therefore rebelling against their parents. And we were idolizing Fidel Castro, who was a poet, and he didn't win yet. You know, he was a rebel and a poet. And I was speaking Spanish with them. We were reading Spanish poetry. And one day we got into a dare you sort of competition. And I and a Mexican friend went and tried to join up with the Castro Revolution. Heavens knows why. It was just a kind of hormonal impulse at the age of 17 on April 17th, having more or less finished school and just waiting to go to college. Senior year, you know, but they didn't accept us, so then we went to Mexico for a year. Yes, that was not before. When I was 20 years old and I met my teacher, first teacher, serious spiritual teacher, a Mongolian Geshe, who I mentioned on purpose, his name is Geshe Wangyal, in New Jersey. Then he sent me, and that was 3 years later, and he sent me to the store to buy milk, and I had been studying with him the Buddhist concept of beginninglessness of the universe. The idea that the Western idea that there has to be a first cause, that the universe comes out of nothing, there was no Big Bang theory in those days, but there was the, you know, the religious idea, and then there were various astronomical ideas. And so one was not accustomed to the idea that the universe could be beginningless without it feeling sort of weird. And so I had been studying it and thinking about it. And as I was walking, I had the epiphany where I suddenly realized that I was not beginning at a certain point and being driven toward another point in a certain way. And I felt almost like a pressure in my spine or something released. And I was suddenly just floating along in a more relaxed manner without such a determination to reach a destination and without a sense of having been pushed from some sort of first beginning in a certain way. It was really a wonderfully releasing feeling.